Well, hey there guys, Tom here. Welcome back to my movie channel and thank you very much for joining me for this, my review of the brand new horror film, Pet Sematary. Sematary. Pet Sematary stars John Lithgow, Jason Clarke, and some very creepy kids. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, ring that notifications bell so that you never miss out on my take on all things movies. There's a spider in my room. And if you've seen Pet Sematary, or if you're looking forward to seeing Pet Sematary, whatever your thoughts are on this film, drop down in the comments section below, and let's carry on this discussion. Now, if you haven't read the book or you haven't seen the trailers, don't worry, I'm going to keep this review completely spoiler-free. I'm not even going to discuss specifics that were in the trailers, because some of those things are a little bit of a spoiler for the movie itself, so I want you guys to go in as clean as possible. Don't worry, you're safe from spoilers in this video. So Pet Sematary obviously is a remake, and it's also an adaptation of Stephen King's novel. This is a movie that I dreaded going to see. Not because I thought it was going to be bad, but because I suck at scary movies. And honestly, if I didn't do what I do on YouTube, there is zero chance that I go to see this movie. But I went to see this movie last night, and I'm actually quite glad that I did. Listen guys, Pet Sematary, this movie is great. This movie's absolutely awesome. I had a fantastic time watching this film. Jason Clarke is an actor who took a bit of getting used to for me. When I first discovered him, I can't even remember what that was when I first saw him in a movie or in a TV show. I didn't like him as an actor. I just didn't connect with him. I didn't think he was that good. Then I saw him in, I think it was Dawn for the Planet of the Apes, and then I started to get woke to the brilliance that is Jason Clarke, and he is great in this movie. I think without the performance of Jason Clarke and without the performance that he gives in this film probably isn't at the level that it is because Jason Clarke brings so much to this role. The relationship that builds between him, his wife, and their two kids, and their cat is absolutely just like, it's awesome what they do with this family. And you know, him and his wife in the film, you know, it's not like a typical horror movie or even a typical movie where, hey, they're a married couple, they get along, they agree with everything, and then shit starts going crazy. No. They establish very early on in the film, before any of the weird stuff starts happening, that, you know, this is a couple that have very opposite opinions on things, such as, is there an afterlife, is there a heaven, mortality, all this stuff. They have very like opposing views on this, and this really sets up a great relationship in the film, and really helps you get invested, and almost asks you to like pick a side. You know, are you siding with Jason Clarke or his wife in the film? It really asks some very deep questions. And again, that's before any of the weird stuff starts happening, and so already I was in. See, it's the same sort of thing that I had with A Quiet Place, not to the same level, but when I went to see A Quiet Place last year, I was, you know, terrified because it's a scary movie and I hate scary movies, but I really got attached to the family. That the family in A Quiet Place is what made me love A Quiet Place. Now, I'm not going to say Pet Sematary did it to that same extent, but they did do a very good job of getting you attached to this family. And holy shit, the little girl that plays Ellie, their daughter in the film, watch out for her, she going places. Okay, let's talk about John Lithgow. John Lithgow is in this movie. He plays their neighbor, and he is one creepy old man. I'm not sure if I've seen John Lithgow in a role like this before. Maybe I have, I'm just not remembering it. But John Lithgow is a standout in this film. Probably the only person in this movie who outdoes Jason Clarke in terms of performance. I loved the John Lithgow character in this film. Absolutely ate it up. Now, from a directing standpoint, from an editing standpoint, a sound design, sound mixing, score, all round, this movie had it. It has lots of tension. The way this movie builds, it just builds and builds and builds. And unlike some horror movies where they do a good job of building tension and all of a sudden they just have this scene and all the tension just goes away, Pet Sematary doesn't have that. Pet Sematary keeps your attention the suspense is constant the entire way through. It's almost like this immense sense of like pressure building and building and building, and when you start to realize what's happening, you start to like preempt it and you're like shaking in your seat. And the themes that this movie explores as well, I touched on it a little bit before too, but the themes that this movie explores of mortality and death and what that means. You know, there's a scene early on in the film, way early on again, before the weird stuff starts happening, where Jason Clarke and his wife, they're explaining to their daughter, like, she asked them, you know, what happens after you die? And they start explaining it to her, like, one of them says, you know, there's nothing happens after you die, and Jason Clarke's like, well, no, of course not. And the wife says, you know, well, no, there's a heaven, and there's this, and there's that, and those kind of things is really, aside from the scary stuff, it's those kind of themes that I think make this movie as good as it is. Because on the surface level, this movie could just be a creepy movie about a bunch of dead animals coming to life, but it's more than that. Okay, I'm sure you've seen the cat posted everywhere on the posters and in the trailers, if you've seen the trailers. Oh my god, the cat. A bit, you know, Captain Marvel had a cat that we all fell in love with. This is a cat we want to run away from. This cat is fucking terrifying. Okay, so let's talk about some things that maybe didn't work in Pet Sematary for me. And there are not that many, but I do have a couple of minor criticisms. Minor criticisms. The first criticism I have of Pet Sematary is that its passage of time isn't very clear. You know, this movie just moves, and it has a great pace to it as well. But I would have even just like little title cards coming up, little subtitles coming up at the bottom of the screen just to say how long has passed. Because at the start of the film, they're moving to this new house in the country, in the woods. And, you know, and then the next scene, it's like they know all their neighbors all of a sudden. They know all the people in the community all of a sudden. And I get it. You know, I'm able to suspend my disbelief. You're able to wrap your head around, okay, they've just moving on in the story. But I would have liked the passage of time to be a little bit more clear. How long has it been since they've been here, since they've moved in? You know, that could have been a little bit more clear, but again, minor criticism. The other minor criticism I have in this movie is there's a character set up early on in the film called Victor. Again, if you know the book, you probably know who I'm talking about. This character was, creepy. He has some makeup effects on him, and oh my god, well done, makeup team. Like, well done, because as far as I'm aware, it was mostly a practical effect. Well done. Well done to the makeup team. That's all I'm going to say. But the criticism with this character comes in the fact that I don't think the character had the payoff for me that I wanted the character to have. Don't get me wrong, he served a purpose. I understand the purpose and why he was there, and he served that purpose, but I don't think the payoff was as strong, and it didn't hit me as much as I think it should have. But again, minor criticism. Guys, Pet Sematary is a really solid movie. I enjoyed watching Pet Sematary. Don't get me wrong, I ain't going back to see it. It scared the hell out of me. It absolutely terrified me. Pet Sematary does its job in that regard. But I enjoyed Pet Sematary. I thought it was great. I very much recommend it. Go and see Pet Sematary if you're at all interested in it, and if you can handle scary shit. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think of Pet Sematary once you've seen it, or if you've seen it, whatever your thoughts are, jump down there and let's carry on the discussion as film fans below. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, hit that subscribe button and ring that notifications bell so that you never miss out on my take on all things movies. Look out for my ranking of the DCEU coming soon, and a review of the new Brie Larson Netflix movie Unicorn Store coming soon as well. My name is Tom. Thank you once again, and I will see you guys next time.